before you get started, let's have a look at the Microsoft Teams interface. So just before you actually start working with Teams and all the channels in that, I'm just going to show you what to expect, what you can see when you've installed Teams. So I'm going to assume that you have downloaded Teams, you've installed it, you've opened it up. It might look a little bit different to mine because mine's obviously got a lot more content already than yours, and you haven't created any Teams yet. That'll come in another video. But let's have a look. The Teams interface has basically four main areas. We have the sidebar on the left hand side, the Teams area over here, the main conversation window or main window here, and then an action bar at the top. Now the action bar includes your navigation buttons there, a chat feature over there, your details, and then of course your standard Windows buttons. Let's have a look here on the left hand side. So on the left hand side in our sidebar we have the activity that shows me the latest news feed, everything that's been going on in Teams, or as you can see, my activity, but that shows me everything that's been happening in my organization, my school, in our Microsoft Teams. We have chat, where I can start a group chat or an individual chat, or call someone or share my screen. Everything starts in the chat area here. Here's my default Teams area. Assignments, if you want to have an overall view of assignments, you will click on assignments. We'll get onto that again also in another video as well. The calendar, which also links into your Outlook calendar, which is really nice. So anything you have in your Outlook calendar, you will also have here in this calendar. That's pretty cool. You can start an immediate meeting with somebody, with an individual, and call them and have a video chat with them. You can create a new meeting as well and schedule that for later in the future. Calls, you can call anyone if they are on Teams. You can call them right now, either as a Skype call, a voice over IP, or an actual video call, which is also quite handy. You can even have a group call. This is nice. It's kind of like Zoom or what was that other one? I can't remember. There was another one that was also video calls and conferences and stuff like that. Files, again, any activity relating to files, all the files that you've uploaded or downloaded, they're all here as well. But you can see that the sidebar is very much a quick access overview tool. I don't really use it as much. The only thing I really use in there is chat and Teams, to be honest. Here we have added apps that you can add to your notebooks, so your notebooks to your Teams. I saw OneNote, that's why I said notebooks. Here's added apps you can add, and you can click on more apps. It's crazy how many apps you can add. The bottom of my sidebar, I've got more apps, and then the help feature as well. So that's the sidebar. The Teams is where you actually see all of your teams and the channels within each team. Now it's worth noting that you might see your team. Actually, I'm going to just change it. I'm going to click on switch view. Do you see how I did that, by the way? I went and clicked the little cog at the bottom, view options, switch view, and then I went and I changed that to grid over there like that. Change it to grid. This is the grid view of Teams. Now obviously I have a lot of teams that I'm a part of, so I need to show some and hide others because I don't work in the other teams. I'm just a member of the team. So here are some teams that I am a part of, that I own, and I can see them up here as big fat squares. And if I scroll down, I can see there are a lot of other teams. Now the grid view is great if you have just a few teams and you've got really cool icons and it's very visual. That's fantastic, but it's not going to help me very much because I have a lot of teams. So here's my little cog options icon, switch view. I prefer, and is my preference, to have it as list view. Okay, that's the list view. You can see I'm in settings of Teams. There's my layout. List view, much easier. On this side now, this is my conversation window or the general area window where most of the activity takes place. Here you will notice at the top I have tabs. Your two tabs that you will find in every team in your general channel will be posts and files. Posts is where we make our posts, kind of like a Facebook news feed, for example. So I will click over here, I will start a conversation, and you can see I already typed it before, so let's do it again. Hello again everyone, and I'll just do that. There we go. So I've now sent a message to my group using a conversation tool down at the bottom, and then people can reply, hitting reply at the bottom. So it becomes this whole, it's kind of like a WhatsApp chat, back and forth, back and forth. And the nice thing is I can attach things, but we'll look at posting in another video. Files is where I can see any of the files that I've uploaded for the students to have access to. Whatever you put in files, everyone in the team has access to. Okay, so please remember that. And if you haven't protected your files, for example, if it's a Word document, anyone can edit that file as well. If you see a class materials folder that has been created by default because the team that you created was a class team, then whatever you put inside class materials will be read-only by default. So that's actually quite handy. So even if a file that you've created is not read-only and you put it in there, it will still be read-only for the rest of the team. So that's actually a very handy folder to use if you don't want anyone changing anything. If you created a class team, you will also have a class notebook which you can access directly from Teams. You don't have to open up OneNote, the app, or the desktop version. It all works in Teams. And you will notice that everything is related. Everything is linked in together. Very, very nice. It makes working with your apps so much easier. And you'll see that as you start working with it. Okay. If it is a class notebook, or a class team, you will also have assignments and grades. You'll have a plus over here where you can click on the little plus to add a tab, and adding the tab means that you can choose various apps or files that you maybe want someone to have access to without having to search for it. You can add that as a tab at the top. So for example, if I had a Flipgrid page, I could add that there and they can just click on the tab. My Flipgrid page will load. But we'll look at this more in a later video. This is just to get you in line with the interface of the program. Right at the top, you can see we have our action bar. We got chat over there if you want to chat. Our navigation buttons here, backwards and forwards. If you click inside this action bar, you can do things like press the / button. And you have a whole lot of options available. You can press the @ symbol. More options in terms of applications that you can access as well. If I was looking for someone specific, I could literally just start typing their name and they will come up right away. And I can click on their name and start a conversation or a call right away. So that is the interface of Microsoft Teams. So when you've installed it, just take some time, have a look at what is on the left-hand side, have a look at your Teams section here, and have a look at the various options that you can see in your general window. Have a look at the tabs at the top as well, and maybe try type something. But I'll get onto that in a video very soon and show you all the options that you have available in this interface.